Jones, the first to find trouble in practice here this week, is the first to try to go find speed on the track.
Yeah, I'm not sure about, I know what we've been told is that at most tracks, that's everywhere they go in this type of qualifying, they have to stay on the apron until they exit turn 2, and he did not do that, being the first car out there. We'll see what NASCAR says about that.
We'll see if they told him something different, but I can't imagine they would forgo the blend line, especially on a one-group racetrack like this.
Oh, and there is the call. Yep. There is the call from his crew to him, and you can hear him backing out of it, so it doesn't sound like maybe they were counting that lap.
Yeah, well, he probably backed out of it not to wear more on his tires, not to get the car any hotter than it was.
And because we're now hearing that NASCAR has disallowed that time. DJ, where does he need to go?
Well, he's going to have to go. There's a blend line all the way over off of turn 2, so you can see he's the first car out, and he's thinking, I'm not pulling out in front of anybody. Yeah. And it should be fine, but that's not what the rule is. The rule states from the very beginning of it, everybody must do the same thing.
In fact, we saw Brad Keselowski down on pit road, who will be in the 22 car this weekend, discussing with NASCAR officials beforehand, just so he understood the rule, because last night he was in a truck race, and they didn't have to do that because they had single truck qualifying.
Yeah, single car qualifying is totally different than this type of qualifying, group qualifying. So it's your racetrack. Once you leave pit road, it's one truck's racetrack. It's not that way with this.
They're strapped in the 22 and fastest so far.
Yeah, I was wondering if that might necessitate going 2 laps, because are you able to get up to full song by the end going out of the pits that way? But we're seeing some very fast times, and it looks like, especially in this first round for the faster cars, that 1 lap is going to be sufficient.
Drivers talked about as they come around to the turn 1 and 2 area. You see Dakota Armstrong down through there, shutting it down, holding it wide open, going flat through 1 and 2 because the banking has been increased. And that's one of the primary reasons, including the pavement, why the speeds are so up. In fact, in practice, almost 8 miles an hour over the pole speed last fall, and already Brad Keselowski is under the track record here in Kentucky.
We did see laps yesterday now that Eric Jones went up the fastest lap at 28.75 yesterday. And I think there's probably more speed than what we've seen here so far, but the drivers now just realizing they just have to get into the top 24 is all they're looking for at this point.
Nice lap for Bubba Wallace. He is second. Eric Jones in the 20. Also very quick. He will go to the top of the board. Jones with 6 poles already this year, trying to make it 7.
You know what? It is so fun to watch qualifying and watch the older guys, Keselowski, guys like that have the experience. They just go out and get their lap. They know they got to make the top 24. Eric Jones, we can talk Dillon, guys like that. They go wide open every time. They want to be the fastest. Anytime they're on the racetrack, they want to be the fastest guy.
40 cars here this afternoon. They will all make the show. Morgan Shepherd, the ageless one in the 89, comes around to complete his first lap. About a second and a half off of Jones' fastest speed so far. He's 12th. See the 11 car of Blake Cook coming to take the green flag now. Blake, a rejuvenated young man in that 11 ride this year. Matt Colley started this team at the beginning of the year. And talking with Blake yesterday, I said, what has that done for you? He said, it's done a couple of things. 1, I don't worry about next week or even next year, he said. And 2, I'm not thinking about every part and piece on my car. They're doing that for me. They're telling me, just give me driver feedback.
Yeah, and that's important for a driver, but really important for a young driver to then just focus on what his task is, and that is to drive the race car to the best he can, not worry about everything that's going on peripheral.
Mike with more on Ty Dillon.
Yeah, just a kind of a strategy move in the 3 camp. You can see Ty Dillon just buckling into his car now, taking his time getting out on the racetrack. This is a calculated move, Dave. What they want to do is wait until the very end of this first round so that when they go out in the second round, they still have some heat in the tires. What do you guys think of that strategy?
You know what? They know more about it than we do, or know more about it than I do. I will say that. You know, the problem is the cool down period. Can you get the engine cool enough? I know you want some temperature in your tires and some of that stuff. We saw some of this at Daytona between the first session and the second session down there, just for those guys on single lap, even though it was single lap, to have more and I guess in their rear ends and their ears and their stuff like that.
I would say play the devil's advocate here. Two things that you look at, and you hope that neither one happens. But if you go out there thinking you got a clear racetrack, and somebody does happen to pull up in front of you and slows you down, then that may hurt your time because you were talking about you got to get out of it. The other thing, they're running wide open. All it takes is a little bit of the car to step out just for a second. You got to get out of it. And so if you wait too long, hopefully they're not going to wait till right at the very last second. Just talking about giving them some time to if they should happen, if either one of those things happen, they could leave themselves enough time to go back down the lap.
KP, I'm going to go ahead and say you can include me in your we. They know strategy better than us, so you go ahead and
But
tell me there. Yeah,
but Dale's exactly right. What you do about playing that card is you put yourself in a small box. Right now, once they drop the green flag, you've got time. You've got time to make a mistake and go back out and fix it. When you get to that small box, everything has to work for you. And we've seen it in this series, in the Xfinity Series. We've seen it in the Cup Series. In this type of qualifying, where it's been some really good guys in the very end, and they've not advanced to the next round.
Dale, just to answer your question, hoping that he doesn't wait till the end of this session, Ty has just fired up the machine and rolled down pit road. They're ready to take a lap.
Yeah, I just saw him move down into the line right there. But we've actually seen a couple of times of drivers already catching cars and things like that in the wrong spots. And you're catching them on the straightaway and making a pass is one thing. That's not going to affect you. But because of this narrow groove that we still have here right now, would certainly upset your lap. Alex Hayden?
Well, with 13 minutes, 14 seconds or so remaining in this first round of qualifying, Kyle Busch has literally just gotten into his Toyota Camry. What they've been doing down here is waiting for everybody to get out there and put a little extra rubber down. This is a different right side tire for the Xfinity Series than what Kyle Busch just got done practicing with the Sprint Cup Series car. The other thing is, the sun is peeking through the clouds now, and with this dark, new asphalt around Kentucky Speedway and limited rubber down on the track, Kyle and his interior man decided to change the visor out on his helmet to try to get a little bit of a better idea of where that fine line is with the groove and the rubber that's been worked out in the racetrack to what he's going to be able to see. Different tints on these visors can brighten the darker color of the asphalt. That's one of the things Kyle Busch is trying.
Alex, you remind me that you just can't go jump in these cars without thinking about it. There's a lot you can do before you go out to qualify.
It is. It's crazy what these drivers think about. Some of them are far more cerebral than others, and Kyle Busch is known as one of those types of drivers that every little thing he can do to try to gain an advantage is definitely something worth trying in his mind, because it's the racer's creed. We all know that. There's always another tenth of a second out there somewhere.
Austin Dillon found that 10th or 2. He is top of the board right now. Just a hair over 29 seconds, 185 miles per hour average on the mile and a half. It's a good lap.
Elliott Sadler, we just saw there, moved into the third spot with a good lap. It's just a 10th off of what you were talking about, Austin Dillon putting down.
Saw Travis Quapple in the garage yesterday, and someone was saying how he didn't want to get out of the groove and hit the wall, and Travis chimed right in. He said, yep, because I did that to the truck on Wednesday. Don't do it. And it's tough here because the line outside that first groove, it's very marginal.
And you're only talking about a few inches that you have to deal with outside of that, because as soon as your right side tires get in that at all, then you've either got to, well, you have to back out anyway, and sometimes that's not enough to keep you out of the water.
So the 15 of Travis Quapple goes in 20th. This is round 1 of 3, and you can see up on top we've got about 11 minutes remaining in the 20-minute session. And on your left, you'll see the cut line down to 24th. We'll be sliding that up so you can see the cars hovering around that edge. Right now, Morgan Shepherd is on it.
Yeah, and on that split screen just a minute ago, as we were talking to Travis Quapple, we had Ryan Sieg, and he jumps up to 8th place. Solid run for those guys. They've been hovering right around 9th, 10th, 11th in most of the practice sessions.
Smithley into the middle, 15th for the 0 car. Brandon Jones started the session today, was the first one on the track, but he did not blend properly. He did so right there, and they disallowed the time that he set on the track. So he brought it in, they pulled it down, and he is back out now. Let's ride with him.
So if heat on the tires is a good thing, which I think we all pretty much have heard that it is going to be, they got to have plenty of time to pull the engine back now, so he should be in pretty good shape here.
Plan working to perfection.
Oh, absolutely. Look at you do it the whole time.
Exactly.
Good call, Mike Hillman Jr. Now, they told him right away, well, it was because quiet and listen to the motor hum. I like that sound.
Yeah, that is just amazing to watch these guys run flat-footed through 1 and 2. As bumpy as this place was a year ago, to come back to this racetrack and be able to run almost flat-footed around it in these Xfinity cars is pretty impressive.
And we talked before about keeping your head in the game. Brandon Jones, a rookie, wrecks the primary car, makes a whole lot of work for his team, get the backup out, and then he comes through and qualifies now 13th for Jones.
Suarez goes to the top of the board. Is anybody up here surprised right now?
No, and that's impressive.
And Ty Dillon's still worked pretty good there. He made a great lap. He's in that second spot now, so he can go back and get ready for that second round.
Yeah, these last few guys that have gone out have put up some impressive laps, the last 5 or 6 guys.
And I stumbled through it earlier, but other than this guy, the 3 driver, Ty Dillon, and Alex Bowman at Michigan for Junior Motorsports, all of the poles this year have been won by Joe Gibbs Racing. Speaking of which, the veteran, Kyle, slowly around the apron and blending properly onto the backstretch. And just as a reminder, DJ, the reason they want them to do that is because during these group qualifying sessions, it's hard to know at what speed someone might be coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, you don't want to
or through turn 2.
Yeah, it's a safety issue more than anything else. Obviously, at this racetrack where there is only one group down there in 1 and 2, you wouldn't want to do that. But you wouldn't want to do it at any of the other tracks. It's the same rule everywhere that they go.
Kyle Busch, the thinker, on the left, changed his visor, might have changed his plan just a little bit. Down the backstretch as Justin Allgaier takes the 7 car through 3 and 4, the flatter side of Kentucky Speedway. And you see on the right, he's about 9/10 behind the 24th place, or head up, sorry, Ray Black Jr. And he'll easily move in 5th for Allgaier, and for Kyle, 2nd.
It looked like he got the right visor on there.
Yes.
Alex said a 10th or something, right? Yeah, sure.
Obviously, he can see the groove with that visor, that's for sure.
What were the blue blockers? Those sunglasses they tried to sell it for so long? Maybe that's what it is. Secrets. Jeff Green, the former champion's got a few.
That's a good, put up some pretty decent times in practice, watching these guys.
Jeff told me yesterday, getting off of 2 and then setting the car into 3, it was like 2 different things this car would do, and he really wanted to roll that down before today. We'll see if he made some progress there in the 14. Alex?
Bubba Wallace currently easily inside the cutoff line, currently in position number 9. And Bubba, just how hard were you pushing it out there, given this is the first of hopefully 3 rounds for you?
Yeah, right. I left a little bit out there. Just there's a lot of factors going in. Kentucky, new repave. I know it rained earlier. A couple got out there, but Cup's on a different tire than us. So a little bit of factors to play in there to save us some. But we're solid in the top 10 right now. Left about a 10th out there. So hopefully that'll improve us to get into the 3rd round. I know we'll have to really work for it. So it's going to be back in Kentucky. They did a really good job with this repave. We got a really stout Ford Mustang. We worked hard on it yesterday, my guys. We thrashed with this thing all day long. So it's good we got more practice to get where we need to be. So it's good to be here. So hopefully we get a good starting spot and have some fun. And be sure to click on that link on Twitter to help out that fundraiser we got going for West Virginia and all the flip tickets.
Doing an awful lot of good things. Bubba Wallace currently easily inside the cutoff line.